Good morning, everyone. It is early, I know. Some people aren't morning people, but I am. I've actually woke up at 4:23 this morning. I went to bed early last night, and I rarely go to bed before 11 o'clock, but I was actually in bed about 10:30. So my body has a clock. Does anybody else have a clock? Because my body has a clock, and when like 5 hours hits, I'm pretty much done. So I woke up actually at 3:30, but I was able to get back to sleep for a little bit because 3:30 is even a little bit too early for me. And at 4:23, I was like, well, I went to bed about 30 minutes earlier than I normally did, and I might as well, wake up 30 minutes earlier. But as almost every morning I wake up, I feel stiff. I'm 46 and I just feel stiff in the morning. So what I love to do before I do anything else in my workout, I use my stick because SMR is my friend. SMR stands for self-myofascial release. And I like to do the stick and the foam roller before I do anything else. So I know I've kind of been showing you some total motion release stuff, but even before I do that, I do the stick and my foam roller. So I just kind of start and go from head to toe, and I get the base of my neck, and it just kind of eases some tension back there. I'm on the computer quite a bit during the day. Is anybody else on the computer quite a bit? You working at the computer? You working from home still, or are you going back to work and into the office? So I just kind of, I'll show you a little bit. I just kind of get back here, and honestly, I've had a kink on the right side of my neck for about a week. And usually when I do total motion release for my shoulder, it feels better. So now I'm going to get my upper trapezius muscle here. And generally speaking, I do about 20 reps. I don't count these out. I just kind of go with what I think is 20 reps. And I'm trying to think when I started using the stick. I would say it had to have been at least around 2000. Because I did my first marathon in 2000. And I know that I was doing the stick, or at least I think I was doing the stick, so maybe 20 years. This has just been a consistent part of my workout. So here I'm getting my lats. If you do lat pull downs, it's a great way to get your lats. And then kind of my low back area as well. Does anybody else wake up stiff though? Because I'll get this side too. Because when I wake up sometimes, especially if I lay on my side, I'm not really a side sleeper, I'm a back sleeper. People could probably laugh if they actually saw me sleeping, because I've got a pillow underneath my knees, I've got a pillow under my head with a McKenzie cervical roll. That cervical roll fits right in the crook of your neck so that your head is a little bit more supported. And then I've got a body pillow next to me. I don't know why I have the body pillow, because I really don't sleep on my side very much. But I guess I kind of like it there. So now I'm going to get the front of my thighs. And I also get the inner thighs, kind of like the groin area. And I just kind of go all around. And get my hamstrings. Anybody have tight hamstrings? This is great. It's really great for loosening up the hamstring before a workout. And then I get the gluteal muscles and the piriformis, your hip rotator muscles. And I get some what we call SI joint dysfunction. It's right on this joint here. So if your sacrum's here and your ilium or the pelvic bone is there, sometimes that joint likes to wreak havoc on me, because there's a ligament there called the sacrotuberous ligament, and I always feel like that's a little bit tight. And then I do the other side. Not that I'm trying to give an anatomy lesson this morning, but there is a method to my madness with using the stick. Like, I am addressing specific areas. So on the side here, I'm getting the IT band. If you've ever heard of iliotibial band syndrome or cycler's knee, the IT band often is a problem with cycler's knee because it just kind of gets tight. Another reason that you can get IT band syndrome is weak hips. So when your hips are really weak, then it causes muscle restrictions or trigger points because your muscles are trying to work harder than they're capable of working. And then your IT band, which is actually a tendon, can get tight. So, little lesson, gluteus medius muscle is here, tensor fascia lata muscle is here. Both of those form the IT band, and it comes down, attaches on this bone, and that can get really tight whether you're a cyclist or not, but it's pretty common cycling injury. Let's see, I don't know if I did my hamstrings on this side. Can't remember. Okay, so I got my SMR to my neck, my shoulders, back, gluteal muscles, thigh muscles, and now I'm going to get my lower leg muscles and my feet. Let me reposition this a bit. Let's see here. Oh, still can't see my feet too much. Sorry about that. Let me just bring this down. All right. Sorry for my dungeon of a basement here. This is a 1925 house. So it's an unfinished basement. We're not planning on finishing it. Because honestly, at some point we'd like to build our own house. Does anybody else want to build their own house? I mean, I'm not going to physically build my house, but I'd like to have a custom home. So here I'm getting these peroneal tendons on the side. Also, they used to be called peroneals. Now they're actually called the fibularis muscles. Fibularis longus, fibularis brevis. And these are the muscles that help to stabilize your ankle. They actually start here and come down to the outside of the ankle and attach. One attaches here, one actually comes around and attaches underneath the big toe. And believe it or not, it gets kind of tight sometimes. And then of course I'm getting my calf muscles. Anybody have shin splints? Anybody ever had plantar fasciitis? Where your arch hurts or you have heel pain? One of the key reasons somebody has plantar fasciitis or heel pain is actually a trigger point in this muscle here, called the medial head of the gastrocnemius muscle. So if you have heel pain or arch pain, I highly recommend using the stick across this inside muscle. I have had plantar fasciitis, and it is not fun. So the front muscle here is the anterior tibialis muscle, and it likes to wreak havoc in shin splints. So I'm getting those peroneal muscles, or fibularis longus, fibularis brevis, and now I'm getting that medial head of gastroc. So I know I'm talking maybe a foreign language, but I'm sharing kind of why I'm doing this stick, because a lot of injuries and a lot of muscle tightness can be prevented with self-myofascial release, just by keeping your muscles loose. So now I'll get the arch. You can use a tennis ball for this. If you have pain, you can also use a water bottle that's been frozen. And I like to get the inside of the arch, and I'm rolling from my heel all the way to the bottom of the ball of my foot. I don't know if you knew this, but there's actually 4 layers of muscle on the bottom of your foot, which is why when somebody has arch pain, it's so painful, because you have a lot of little muscles that allow you to stabilize your foot, so that when you walk on the sand or you walk on grass or dirt, anything uneven, then you can stabilize your foot without spraining your ankle. All right, so that is my stick. Pardon me for a second here. And that's my foam roller. And I just put my chair back where my daughter practices her keyboard. And hopefully this works here. So now I'm still going to work. Now you don't have to do the foam roller in addition to the stick. You could just do the stick. But I like to use the foam roller too, because it really helps to kind of get more general self-myofascial release. But I'll be honest, sometimes I do one or sometimes I do the other. I almost always do the stick. Sometimes I don't always do the foam roller, especially with I'm traveling. Like the stick fits really good in a suitcase. The foam roller, not so much. So on this though, I'm just going to roll back and forth. It's a nice little core workout too, little ab workout, like doing a plank. And I just roll with my hips kind of in neutral. And then I bring my feet out and get more of the inside of my thighs, or my quads and groin. And then I bring my feet in and get kind of the outside. And then I'm going to get that IT band. So you do have to have some upper body strength for this. First few times you do this, you'd be surprised about how much your core and your upper body is working. Let's switch sides here. So some people will be like, this is kind of a workout in and of itself. Once you get used to doing it, it goes pretty quick. And it just feels good. So I'm definitely tighter on this right side. I can feel that. And you could do it a couple different ways. Like I could kind of hang out here for a little bit and do, hold for 30 seconds. The massage therapist I go to, she would probably appreciate if I did that more. And speaking of massage therapists, so now I'm just going to kind of get that calf, kind of get the outside of the lower leg. These are usually pretty good. Like I don't feel a lot of tenderness with those because I just did the stick. Same thing with my hamstrings. I really don't feel that. So I'll start with my toes up, and then my toes out, and my toes in. And remember, I just did the stick, so I don't spend too much time. And this is kind of my problem area. My gluteal muscles get really tight, and my piriformis gets really tight. So if you've ever had piriformis syndrome, it's not fun. It feels like you have sciatica. But what happens is the sciatic nerve actually pierces through or around the piriformis muscle. So when the piriformis muscle gets tight, it just clamps down and pinches onto that piriformis muscle. And then you get like radiating sharp pain down your leg, which could come from your back, but definitely can come from the piriformis muscle. So now I'll just get the other side here. All right, and for some reason my left side isn't always as tender as my right side. And then I get my back. And has anybody had back pain before? I've had some back issues since high school. I played percussion, so I was loading timpani, those big kettle drums, up into a van because we were going to a football game, and I played sideline percussion. So I played marimba and timpani, and the person who was in the truck that I was lifting the timpani up with somebody else, I wasn't lifting it by myself, that person let go. And that timpani kind of fell back on me and the other person. And ever since then, I kind of had some back issues. I think that was my sophomore year in high school. And so when I went into college and I studied athletic training, I learned a lot how to fix my back. And I was really thankful about that. So that would have been 1993, sophomore year, that would have been 1990. So I've had back issues for like 30 years. But honestly, I didn't learn about the foam roller. I mean, I've known about the foam roller for a while, but I didn't start using it on me personally until I went through some physical therapy about 5 years ago. I always hated the foam roller. It always hurt. And who wants to do anything that hurts, right? Well, the therapist I was working with, she's like, you've got to do the foam roller. You've got to do some self-myofascial release to your back, because your back is so tight. And I had been training for a half marathon. I was trying to get back into running, and it just wasn't working for me. My back was tight, my hips were tight, my hips were weak, my body was just like falling apart. And the foam roller, actually, my nemesis, the thing I hated, became like my best friend. So now I have to say I don't use the foam roller every day, but I usually do it about 3 to 5 days a week. And I can tell when I haven't done it in a while. So that's my SMR routine, my self-myofascial release routine. I highly encourage you, if you don't have the stick or the foam roller, they are great investments for your overall health and well-being. And I can actually post a link, or you can go to my website at dewittptwellness.com and look at recommended products. If you click on that and scroll down, there'll be a link for the stick and the foam roller on my website, where it'll just take you to Amazon. That's it. And if you have a Prime account, then you don't have to worry about shipping or anything. But that's where I go to get my supplies for my patients. And if you don't have the stick or the foam roller, I highly recommend it, because it's they're great ways to do self-myofascial release. I highly recommend physical therapy. I highly recommend my massage therapy, chiropractic, acupuncture, really any of those complementary alternative medicines. But in between appointments, you can do self-myofascial release with the stick and the foam roller, and you'll have much better benefits than if you are just going to PT, chiro, massage, or acupuncture by themselves. So I hope that helps, gives you a little muscle release, and have a great day. Wish you the best.